All right, guys, this is the build day for our 5.3 liter that's going in the foxbody. And I've got my block back from the machine shop, all cleaned up. I just honed it. The hone didn't quite get every last scratch to the bottom of the scratch. You cannot feel them at all with your nail. Don't care. So yeah, it looks bad, but you can't feel them at all. So I'm gonna send it. Got my heads back. These heads were already done. I just had them cleaned. That's all I did. I'll be changing the valve springs on these today. For our parts rundown, what we got. So we obviously got our machine shop stuff there. Got a new rear main seal, back gasket, some main bearings right there, assembly lube. And this is a really important one. I have the 4-inch bore ring compressor, but this is a 3.7 something, whatever the 5.3 bore is. These are just awesome. If you try to put rings in with a adjustable one, it just sucks. So we've got that. We have, and just so you know, Summit always isn't the cheapest, but I ordered these directly from my dealer here, Chevy dealer. With my discount, they were cheaper. These are my new head gaskets I'm gonna run. These are not the LS9 gaskets. These are, I forget the part number for them, but they're a 5-layer. Oh, that's probably going to tell you what they are right there. But they're an LS1 size gasket. I didn't want to run the LS9s. A lot of people still do, but they're a 4.1-inch bore. And that's going to leave a pretty good gap on a 5.3. So we're just running these. People run a lot of boost on those. These are just cleaned up bolts, push rods, crop like that from the machine shop. We've got our new valve springs here. Some pack 1218s. Pretty solid straight up setup. Some people say you're not supposed to touch these. The oils of your hand getting on them, but whatever. These are some 1218s. These are nice because they go right in place. Direct swap in. These are the same retainers, same locks, no problem. And they give you up to a 0.6 lift on your cam. They're good right up to 0.6 lift. I'm not going to run that big. Here's my cam right here. Again, ordered from GM. And I'm just running, this is just a part number. You can see it ends in 8427. This is the LS9 camshaft. We're going to run that. Oil pan with all the mains. This is cleaned up from the machine shop. It's got all the stuff laying in there. And then we've also, I took, so this is all the remnants of all the other crap we're going to be just assembling. But those are our crank. This is our crank that's balanced to those Gen 4 rods that we talked about earlier. Did you see the timing cover anywhere here? Anyway, I took it was a truck timing cover, and we made it into, I can't find it at the moment. But anyway, we took a truck timing cover that had VVT on it and welded the plate shut on it, and that's what we're going to be using for our front timing cover, because we'll need a front timing cover for the LS9 cam that has the sensor built into it, and I'll get a picture of that a little bit later. Installing the main bearings, we've got the first 4 in, including the thrust bearing in the middle, and Josh here is going to install the last bearing for us and narrate how it's done.
So essentially, you have a polarized north and a south direction, which must, whoa, okay, good. You have this little thing here, and it goes right there. And then this thing goes right there, and this thing goes right here, and then you go, and this is a little high, this one goes a little low, and you push it, and then it's okay, and then it's horsepower.
Josh has got a retainer in right now, so forgive him, but once he pops his retainer out, he sounds normal, so. But anyway, that's our upper main bearings installed. You can see our camshaft floating in down there, and we're gonna move on to checking some crank clearances. Okay, jumping ahead, we've got the crank in. We've checked with plastic gauge that it's about 1.3 thousandths to 1.5 thousandths on the crank, which is fairly snug. These are just standard bearings, standard crank. It's been polished. It's enough. And then we've got them all torqued down. Go to 15 foot-pounds, and then these ones go 80 degrees. These ones go 53 degrees in their pattern, and then we check for end play. We smack the front, smack the back, with these loosened up after we've torqued them and then retorque. And we get our end play, we check the end play. We've got good end play on our thrust bearing down in the middle here. We've got, probably 25 thousandths or so end play, 25, 30, something like that. And it spins smooth. Well, I say it spins smooth. It's got some sticky, Lucas, whatever that is. So it's kind of sticky. But anyway, now we're going to start loading some pistons in it. Okay, we've removed this from the engine stand temporarily to get our rear main seal and back plate on. And we're going to go ahead at this time, we're going to go ahead and install a brand new flex plate as well, just because we're going to do it. All right, we've got it, we got the front timing set. We're doing sloppy build, sloppy mechanics type build, and we've got our timing set. You can see straight up. We're just doing a straight up shot. It's not straight up in this one. We've moved it a little bit, but it is a straight up. We got our cam retainer plate behind that in. Cam's locked in. Flywheel's on. Flex plate, back covers on. Gonna slam the oil pump onto it right now. Josh is gonna attempt to line it up. We'll see how he can do. Come on, Josh, send it. Get that sucker lined up. You're upside down, by the way. That's all right. The oil pickup tube is, yeah, it goes to the top of the motor.
I was just making sure.
110,000 mile or so oil pump. Maybe
50, maybe.
150 maybe. Hey, who cares? We got a new O-ring for it. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Dude, make that thing go home.
I want to go home.
Dude. This oil pump is out of a LS3. Well, really a his truck that we built earlier. So it was a LS3 like truck motor that we turned back into like an LS3. Yeah. You can do it. I have faith, Josh. Don't worry about the bolts.
Yeah,
all right, this is to be continued. And there you have it. It's on, torqued and in. Now real quick, just for your info, I'm using an LS9 cam, which requires the front cover to be your pickup. I've got, as you see, the oil pressure sensor in, and then I've got the old cam sensor in, which is just a dummy plug. You got to have that in for oil pressure. It seals the oil galley, so you got to put that in. Just leave it as a dummy plug. But then this is actually off an 05 Silverado, this front wheel here. And the 05 was still using the rear cam, but in 05, their production run, they just threw these in the trucks anyway. So it wasn't even using this pickup. But this is the pickup you need to use on a Gen 3 harness or a 24 times reluctor wheel with an LS9 cam. That's a 3-bolt cam, LS9's 3-bolt. And then I have modified, like I said earlier, still got to clean it up a little bit, but this was a VVT cover, but you see it has the provision right there for the cam sensor. But I took out the VVT, and I don't even know if I had to. I maybe could have left it in, but I didn't want it. And I welded in my, dude, that was some nasty welding because it wasn't sandblasted and cleaned out. So it was kind of all getting screwed up with oil and stuff. But I welded both sides and then ground this side kind of flush. You still see the grinding marks. But that'll work with the cam sensor. And then you have to repin the ECU or just pull the wires out for this back here and reappropriate them for the front timing sensor. And that'll work that camshaft just fine. Hey Matt, this video is totally for you. As you guys know, I'm reusing these Gen 4 pistons. They're not really Gen 4, they're Gen 3, 05 Silverado. And as I mentioned earlier, they're really good shape, not a lot of wear on them. But these came out of one that seized a cam bearing, and when it seized a cam bearing, that center cam bearing got really hot, and then it seized the 2 lifters on either side close by, which then caused the valves to hang open, and this is the result. We have 1 piston, we have 2 pistons with these markings, these KISS. We'll call this a KISS. But anyway, so it's really only 7.9 cylinders because there's a little bit missing right there. But anyway, yeah, we're going to send that, no problem. I checked, there's no impingement on the ring floats smoothly. So, I mean, it smacked a valve there, but we don't care. It's going down. We've got 2 in, and they go in like butter with this handy little compressor. But anyway, yeah, so just a little kiss mark. We'll have a little less compression on that cylinder, but woohoo. Yeah, this is, I want to show you how easy this is to put a piston in with this tool. We've already got 7 in, so we're just going to throw some elephant snot on the rod bearing. This is some sticky stuff, like that. We're going to grab the ring compressor right here. Just going to drop it down through, slide it up like that. Dot forward on the motor. Try to get it as level as you can with the dot straight in the middle. Drop it down, just like that. We'll spin it over. I got it. Spin it over like this. Now I got both this both this journal's rods put on. Pull it up. Send the rod. Pull this one up, and we'll send this one in. And you saw it straighten out there. Push the bearing shell back just a little bit there. Grab our caps. More snot. Now these are, you always go tang to tang. This is the little tangs here. And these are cookie cuts, so I don't know if I got the right rod or not. And I don't. See how they don't line up? Those don't line up. So I know that these go to this rod here because they're split fracture rods. The other one. More snot. Tangs to tangs. And these should crush right together. Just like that. You can see that that is like a perfect cookie cutter fit. And then we're just we'll torque them all here in just a moment, but I'm just running them down lightly with this. And then I'm just going to check and make sure we don't have any interference. I do it to each rod as I go. Make sure it moves side to side. And then we've got a hole complete. Everything moves smooth there. So we're ready to final torque all these rod bolts and be done. They're all installed. Okay, Josh is applying the correct precise amount of torque to the oil pan, which happens to be 18 foot-pounds on these ones here and 106 inch-pounds on these tall ones in the back, there and there. Threw a little bit of paint on the block. We installed our harmonic balancer along with our front cover, aligned them correctly, and we've got the new bolt in there, which you torque it to 34 foot-pounds, and then I used a 3/8 drive ratchet, and I hand torqued it another 140 degrees, which brought it up to about 300 foot-pounds. And I did it all with this little ratchet right here, and it went on there nice and stuck. No, we just sent that bitch right there, woo, with that guy. Anyway, hope my mom doesn't see this video. All right, we have got the short block completely assembled. We've got all our lifters in, lifter trays torqued, all our China Speedmaster head studs in. We used, these guys here. There's all the 12-point fastener hardware for it there. Anyway, we've got the short block done. We're going to put the valley tray still on, but other than that, we're going to go ahead and change all the springs in here to the pack 12/18s. We're going to put these in, throw the heads on, button it down. Okay, we've got these heads done. We've cleaned up the surfaces with wire brush, cleaned all the gasket material off, brake cleaned them, dried them. We've changed all the springs out to the pack 1218 springs. Should give us the valve control we need with a bigger lift cam and higher RPM. And we're ready to put them on. That's that. So let's slide them down. Josh pointed out that we may want to use some head gaskets before we put these on. We are doing this a little on the cheap, but I think we probably better invest in the head gaskets. So they say front on them, I think, usually. Yeah. Anyway, so these are our, yep, so front to that side, there we go, front and up. How many layers are these? These are 3? Maybe just a 3 layer. Anyway. These are kind of a pain, you gotta walk them down over the studs. Okay, time out while we put these on. Okay, we got our head gaskets installed and we are ready to drop them down. We've already got our dowel pins installed in the block. Okay, this guy's struggling here.
Yeah, dude, don't ding up the surfaces.
Time out. Okay, well, we tried to put it on the first time, but it didn't work out so easily. So I'm going to demonstrate the proper way to install these. We're just being dumbasses. Anyway, here we go.
I'm being a dumbass.
Yes, you are. So I like to do it like this. Tilt the head up, so I know I've got my studs. Roll it over. Locate them. Voila. Now we just got to tighten them up and we'll be good.